Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Oh, well, I looked at...
Claire, I was born and raised on the streets.
By a Ratchet?
I know these streets. Welcome back to the house that Claire built, another fine edition of the Claire-vs-Carlson Show. There are many things you can put in your ears. This is one of them. Part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire. I am so sad that my team did not pick Anthony Barr number one at the Claire Bear 23 NFL Female Podcast. That is very sad, isn't it?
You're relentless.
Anthony Barr. And I'm Andy Carlson at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine, Purple for the Win, football convos, all that other good stuff. I got more shows than, I don't know, insert something witty here. We can be found at Claire-vs-Carlson on the Twitter machine, YouTube, Facebook, and on iTunes under Late Night Sports Radio. Hi, Claire. How's it going?
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I am fantastic because we have a ton of stuff to slam into our 1 hour. This is your Friday late night happy hour. We're kind of like Applebees, except we don't have $1 off taps and rails and half-price appetizers. So not quite as good, but then again, it is kind of. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
I mean, beer is beer and rails are rails, but then it's Applebee's.
Exactly. Applebee's is not a place of higher cuisine levels. Yeah, it's just not.
And we are brought to you by our title sponsor, TGI Fridays. Better than Applebee's. Get some. Eating good in the neighborhood. Wait, no, that's Applebee's. All right, we're going to get sued by Applebee's. That will be the tagline of the show. We have a lot of stuff to get to. College football Final Four is set. Mariota is going to walk away with the Heisman. We'll talk about bowl matchups, what these kids are getting in their goodie bags. Also, NFL. There's never a shortage of news in the NFL. Cam Newton, clown shoes, Manziel, Aaron Kromer, Yee Gon. Washington is a hot mess, and Jaguar fans are jerk faces. And then our last segment, bringing up the rear, we're going to talk about players in the NFL who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame or should not be. I don't know. We'll see when we get there, as well as Week 14 recap picks, and we'll make our Week 15 locks as well. But, Claire, how was your week? Apparently you were in Jerry's Metroplex this week, right?
Yeah, I had to kick it up in North Texas, and that's always a bummer.
Oh, why?
It's not a very pretty place. The traffic is horrendous. It's worse than Houston. And there's a lot of weird, pretentious-y sort of people. There's, some fine people who live up there, but for the most part, they're just not down to earth on the whole.
Well, that's Dallas.
Well, Dallas is not.
They had a whole TV show made of them. There's no show called Houston.
That's because we're not salacious people who like to shoot each other.
Oh, I'm going to call me a proxy meeting and finally take over you and oil. Did you watch that show back in the day? Well, that had to come out when you were like 4, right?
My mom used to watch it. I don't recall ever watching it.
Well, they tried to do a reboot of it on TNT. I don't think that really flew, though.
Well, it's stupid. I get tired of everything that comes out. Like 9 out of 10 things that come out are reboots of something else. And it's just stupid. Get some new ideas or don't do anything. Tired of the same old crap over and over and over again. That's why I don't watch movies. That's why you are the pop culture king, and I don't care.
Well, what was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Oh, I actually went and saw Gone Girl.
Oh, well, there's an original adapted from the novel, so at least that's not a reboot. But there will be a reboot in 10 years.
Yeah, and I always go see movies or watch shows that are based upon books that I have read. So there you have it.
All right, well, what's on Claire's nightstand right now? Book-wise.
I don't have time to read anymore. I just don't.
Oh. Well,
sorry.
I wanted to clarify books because I didn't want you to bring up something else or, I don't know, your retainer or something.
Oh, well, I have a stapler and a fax machine, an e-cigarette, some nail polish, and I think that's about it.
Wait.
Ice cream.
So not to put your news out in the street, but I'm going to put your news on the street, but you're vaping. I thought you gave it up.
No, I gave up cigarettes for the e-cigarettes, but I'm starting off with the lowest nicotine juice.
Mm.
So, which means I took a big drop in the amount of nicotine I take in per day, which means I really want to kill someone all the time. And when Andy likes to torture me, I just kind of want to go fly to Minnesota and snap his little head off his little neck.
So this is going to be a fun show since Claire is on edge. And how do you celebrate afterward? Well, what's your touchdown dance now after you hang out with a young gentleman? What's your you lost your end zone dance?
I don't know, man. I guess we're going to find out one of these days.
All right, something that we found out is who was in the college football Final Four that was announced this week, and it pretty much went to chalk. Number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. Ohio State gets in on the strength of Cardell Jones playing pretty well in the 59-0 ass whipping of Wisconsin, which was beautiful, which was gorgeous to me because I'm not that big of a Gophers fan. I'm kind of by default and proxy, but Badgers fans are equally as annoying as Packer fans because they're usually the same people. So I love it when Wisconsin gets ass hammered like that. And then Gary Peterson or Gary Anderson, whatever his name is, Yee Gon.
Anderson.
Yeah, whatever. Number 2 Oregon versus number 3 Florida State in the Rose Bowl. I think it shook out perfectly, mostly because I think the committee wanted to keep Alabama in the South and keep Oregon in the Rose Bowl. It's funny how that worked out like that. Actually, to go full conspiracy, I think they would have gone Oregon, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. You have the whole Pac-12 Big Ten Rose Bowl like it used to be, tradition. And then Alabama and Florida State, that both those fan bases would have jam-packed the Sugar Bowl, even though Ohio State's fans travel well. Both those games going on January 1st, championship game in Jerry World, January 12th. So the main question, Claire, did they get it right?
Yeah, I don't think you can really argue with who the best teams were. There were a few other teams that didn't make it. And I don't know, it's kind of like, what was the analogy that I heard? Musical chairs. Say there are 5, 6, 7 guys running around trying to get to the chairs and the music stops and 4 of them sit and the rest of them are closed, but they're not there. So it stinks for the schools that Baylor nor TCU got in and there is no representative from the Big 12 because the Big 12 slogan is one true champion, and they had co-champions this year, which ironic, but it's very Big 12-ish. So what else? Later, guys.
Bye,
should
Felicia.
be a good matchup. So yeah, pretty much. Bye, Felicia.
Now, do you think Art Briles or Gary Patterson at TCU and the Big 12, do you think they have any gripe at all? Because I heard a couple of interviews with the Big 12 commissioner, and he, honest to goodness, thought that they were going to get 2 teams into the Final Four when they should have been focusing on getting 1. And I know that they're under current NCAA rules, as far as you can throw them, they're not allowed to have a Big 12 championship game because they only have 10 teams, even though they're ironically the Big 12. So I think
doesn't the Big 10 have 12 teams?
Big 10 has 14 teams.
There you have it. Okay, so that's not confusing at all.
It hasn't been the Big 10 since Penn State came in the mid-90s, I want to say, something like that. But anyways, the Big 12, Art Briles is understandably pissed, although I think TCU has the biggest gripe because they were number 3 going into championship game weekend, beat the hell out of Iowa State at home. They were even taking a knee 4 minutes left to go in the game, and they dropped from 3 to 6. So it can be understand if they drop to 5, but whatever. But then they get leapfrogged by Baylor, and yes, Baylor does have the head-to-head win. Although, what does a 61-58 win really signify? I mean, we talked about this last week. Yes, a win is a win is a win, but
if it's win or go home, then that wins, and you continue going, and the other guy goes home. It is what it is, Andy. It may have been close, but someone still won.
True, but I would contend that TCU losing to Baylor in a very tight shootout on the road was a lot better win, or a lot better loss than Baylor dropping an egg in Morgantown against West Virginia.
Fair enough, but I mean, I don't know. They don't take. They're okay. I have philosophy on things. This has come up with the Texans this week. I want to get mad about situations and judge them from the outside, but there's more people who are capable of doing these jobs than the people who are selected to do these jobs. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're probably smarter than me, those elite people who landed these jobs that are so coveted that everyone wants them. And I'm going to go ahead and believe in their decision. And unless there's incontrovertible evidence that they're wrong, then I believe in what they decided.
I think there need to be more people on that committee like Condoleezza Rice rather than some of the people they have on there that are just like ceremonial figureheads. And they have to get rid of this college football selection show every single week, Tuesdays on ESPN, because Gary Danielson went off on this on the DP show. It's made for TV, and I understand that ESPN does own college football and they need programming, but this is stupid and it's unfair to those 12 people to be put on a spot like that because they're not television presenters. They're not television characters. They're on that committee to make analytical, unbiased decisions, and then it was a circus every single week because, Alabama's number 1, Florida State's number 2. They moved Florida State down to 3, and they haven't lost a game yet. TCU is up on 3 again. And they need to stop with the rankings every single week. I would be more than okay with just announce it. Just like the NCAA tournament bracket. Just announce it at the end.
Fair enough. I'm cool with that.
I
kind of look at the rankings like the same as I do power rankings for football or basketball. And everyone puts so much stock into what their ranking is. And it doesn't matter until the end. So screw it. I don't want to know till the end because it doesn't matter where I'm ranked in the middle of the season or even 2 weeks out. It matters what you ranked at the very end. That's it.
And something that's always been my pet peeve is the preseason rankings, and then they run with those every single week. They should not have a college football ranking until mid-September. Let them get a couple of weeks into the season because Florida State, the whole controversy was Florida State being number 1 and then dropping out slightly because they came into the season as number 1. Yes, I do understand that they are the defending champs, but I don't really subscribe to that whole argument that to fall from the number 1 spot after being champion last year, you got to get beat. I mean, a lot of the players that made that Florida State team what it is or what it was when they were jacking fools last year are gone. There's a lot of turnover. It's yes, they brought a lot of players up, but it's basically a completely new team, and they saw that. Florida State is not a number 1 team.
Yeah, no, they aren't. So I just can't put a lot of credence into it before they play a game because you aren't going to have exactly the same team as you had the year before. Things change. The people you play, their teams are going to change. So starting off a new season, you definitely don't need rankings going into it. That's just crazy to me. At least play some football first. Show us what you have.
Yeah, a little Creedence Clearwater. Hello.
Hey.
Now, do you like CCR?
I hate John Fogerty's voice.
What?
Hate. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like Geddy Lee's voice.
Fine.
I know.
Fine.
Grouchy.
Like
I told
Geddy
you I was
Lee.
grouchy.
You are grouchy. And the whole topic that they need to expand the playoff field, even though the NCAA is contractually locked in to keep it in 4 teams for the next 10 years. Of course, we know how valuable those contracts are. But looking at the top 8 right now, Ole Miss would be number 9 left out. Arizona would be number 10 left out. Kansas State would be number 11 left out. Georgia Tech number 12 also left out. And I don't think any of those 4 teams would be in any danger of sweeping 3 games and win the championship, so that's fine. But Michigan State at 8, I don't think they could win either. Mississippi State 7, TCU 6, Baylor 5, and then, of course, we have our top 4. I don't mind the top 4 looking at this year because, honestly, I think if Baylor or TCU went up against Bama or Oregon, it'd be fun to watch, but I think the Texas team would get smoked.
Yeah. I mean, if you had, say, for instance, a Bama who happened to lose 2 games, let's say, and they were close, and every other game they blew everybody out, but Bama's at 5, and Bama doesn't make it in, and they're
right there and arguably better than the number 3 and 2 team,
Mm-hmm.
then that's whenever you're going to have riots in the streets, is whenever it is a perennial powerhouse that's constantly in a championship game who barely doesn't make it in. Otherwise,